Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Ryan Saplan here, fat loss strength coach, coming to you today with a video about does sugar make you fat? Talking about sugar, carbohydrates, and fat metabolism, talking about all kinds of hormones to sort of educate you so you better understand your body. Because I have found that when I educate myself on leptin and insulin and carbohydrates and protein and fat, and if sugar makes you fat, all these kinds of stuff, I seem to do a lot better with my own personal fitness. Even though what you think you should do doesn't really change, the fact that you're educating yourself sort of like reminds you that, okay, maybe I should not eat that crap. But anyways, in case you haven't seen my previous video called Does Sugar Make You Fat? There'll be a link in the description, or I'll place it somewhere over here for you to click on, and you can add it to your watch later list or watch it later. But wanted to talk specifically about leptin, because leptin is one of those hormones that's very interesting, because I've done a little bit of research. I've actually done a good amount of research, but because all of it is so confusing, it's so hard to remember it all. But the one thing to understand about leptin is a hormone that essentially controls appetite. It actually controls a lot of other things, controls calorie expenditure. And leptin is released from the adipose tissue of your fat and then sends it to your brain. So this is kind of why when you are trying to lose weight, you get really hungry, or if this is one of the things that happens. You lose body fat, you have less fat on your body. So what ends up happening is you're getting less of a signal from your fat stores, from your fat cells, from your adipose tissue to your brain. So it means the leptin signal is less. So more fat, higher leptin. Less fat, lower leptin. So high leptin means full, right? So that's sort of the basics of it. Sort of a leptin saying, more leptin to the brain says, hey, stop eating, right? Less leptin to the brain says, keep eating. It's a little oversimplified, but keep in mind, I'm just trying to illustrate a point. Now, the next part is what happens to people who are overweight or people who are struggling with losing weight, is that mechanism is broken. It's otherwise known as leptin resistance. So even though you have a lot of fat on your body, it's still your brain is not functioning correctly, or your body is not functioning correctly, because the signal is coming away from your fat. There's lots of leptin being sent to your brain, your hypothalamus, I think it is, a part of the brain, but your body's not listening to it. So it says, hey, there's hella fat, stop eating, but your brain's not registering it. So what happens is you become what is known as leptin resistant. And as you can guess, what is the reason for all of this to happen? Well, of course, bad eating habits, bad exercise habits, life stress, basically everything of the modern world. And I'm sure you realize that lots of people are more susceptible than others, right? The genetic gene pool it's not fair, right? People are going to thrive better than others, and that's just how it is. But I'm not here to complain about why your genetics suck or why my genetics suck. I'm here simply to talk about what you can do to kind of put this information on your side, so that way you can lose body fat and change your body. And that is realizing one of the things that actually makes that whole mechanism break down with the leptin and whatnot I just explained is that too much carbohydrate intake, specifically processed carbohydrates and junk food. Now, if you eat one day of junk food, or maybe even 2 days, not going to really ruin you. However, if you are constantly binging on food or having junk food all the time, you can break that mechanism. Now, of course, I'm sure you've noticed there are people that you know that are skinny, or they stay lean year round. Or when they get fat, I mean, their fat is basically where I want to get to. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy, right? Anyways, my point is, you can still break that system, right? People who have better metabolisms, maybe better genetics to stay lean, what ends up happening is they stop exercising, they start working more at work, they eat bad, and then they get fatter, right? They don't get a lot of fat because their genetics allow them to sort of mitigate some of those issues. Whereas someone like me, if I stopped exercising and started eating bad, I would go downhill fast. Now, I guess this is where the debate sort of comes in when it comes to talk about nutrition and fat loss, and just my opinion is it that I don't really have good genetics and that I'm going to have a tendency to eat more food because of, or maybe is my metabolism really that slow? Or is it that my genetics are set up to a point where I just have an uncontrollable appetite? And I'll bet you to guess that, of course, a little bit of both, but I'm going to favor on the side of once I become a trash compactor, I will put food down like nobody's business. It's just because that's just the way I seem to be wired. I don't know why I don't get full. I mean, I do get full when I'm dieting, when I'm eating well, but when I'm eating bad, and when you fall really off track, you just break. Like your mechanism is messed up to a certain degree, right? You're like, I mean, 15 pounds ago, like I'm 190, 189 right now. I used to be 210 or 205, right? 10, 15 pounds ago. I could put 2 Chipotle burritos down probably. I don't know if that's necessarily, if I could actually do that. I've never done it before, but I mean, after one burrito, I feel like I can eat another one. I want to eat another one, but I just sort of like, okay, stop eating, Ryan. So my point of saying this is understanding like carbohydrates are the devil. No, I'm half kidding. Realize that everything comes down to good habits, right? You got to remember, this is habits that you're trying to create. You're trying to stay away from eating junk. I mean, you do have junk. You have junk maybe once or twice a night. I mean, a week, and that's it. If you keep it like that, you're going to have good habits. You're going to stay lean, or you're going to lose body fat. I guess the last thing I really want to talk about is kind of sugar, because I was talking about, how sugar makes you fat in my previous video, is that, again, just like with carbs, whether it be like a processed candy or maybe bread, it's maybe not as sugary or sweet, is that, again, they have a tendency to cause overeating. And that's really where it comes down to. It's really about that mechanism or that sort of convenience factor. You're going to overeat those. You're going to have a higher likelihood to overeat those foods. Also remember that when you eat more fat and eat more protein, you're going to be more full. I'm sure you already know this. Anyways, that's my talk. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like more videos like this, click like, leave a comment if you have a question, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and click over here in the link here if you want to sign up for my email list. I write about these kind of things more often than I make videos about them because I tend to do more exercise stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all on the next video.